So I'm only a little bit annoyed because I had this really, the first time I filmed this was amazing, and I was super sassy and like bitter and like threw things around my room. And then I uploaded the clips to my computer, and because I still haven't gotten my lens fixed, although I have time to do it next week, so that'll be good, it's still stuck at sort of I have to be zoomed all the way in and blah blah blah. But the entire thing was like completely blurred, like completely out of focus. This is as wide as I can go with my frame before everything starts to get blurry. So I wanted to sort of show you the products that I've got sitting here, but alas. So I have to film this again with theoretically as much impact, but I'm only going to be acting a little bit, but I think I have a little bit more clarity this time around on what happened and just sort of... But it's actually good because there are a couple products that I forgot to grab and forgot to mention for more than just the situation that I experienced, but let me tell you the full story. I remember that I was going through my bin of products that I need to try. So this was in one of the boxes, and it's by Oil. It's the Facial Milk Cleansing Intelligence. So it's a green beauty cleanser, right? I tend to find that green beauty cleansers just work better with my skin because I tend to sort of save like Clinical for like serums and acids and that sort of thing, but my skin just doesn't get along well with the cleansers. And to me, by having like green beauty cleansers and oils and balms and that sort of thing, it helps to balance out any potential, you know, stringent effects of like a Clinical brand peel or a Clinical retinol or something like that. So I just find that pretty much all my cleansers are in fact green beauty, or close to it at least. So I didn't think to test this, pH test this, and pH testing is something I completely believe in. For cleansers, other things not as much because it really does depend. That's a whole other story. But cleansers I definitely am like 1000% supportive of in testing. And it seems to be very common in like K-beauty and for Clinical brands and that sort of thing. And because I use, like I said, mostly green beauty cleansers, I don't think to test the pH. And because I'm using a balm or an oil most of the time, they don't have any water in them, so therefore they don't have a pH. So I don't really think to test oil because nothing will happen. So I didn't think to test this. I put this on my skin, and all of a sudden it just started to hurt a little bit. I was like, oh, well, there's a lemon essential oil. Maybe it's just more of an astringent kind of cleanser. I get in the shower, and because it's a milk, I thought, well, and it's got oils in it, I thought, oh, well, it's going to give me a little bit of moisture. I should just sort of let it sit for a minute, which I do with most creams or milks. I get in the shower, start trying to like massage it off, and as I do, my fingers just are like squeaking along my face. And I feel like I'm literally trying to like, my skin feels like a rubber band that's just been stretched. And it's just, it feels and it squeaks. And of course, as I'm massaging the cleanser off, I know exactly what happened. And I knew exactly what was happening to my skin. I was using a cleanser that had a pH that was far too high. So I tested the pH of this. Of course, jumped on Instagram stories because I was livid. A pH of around 8.8 to 9. Water is a 7. And my skin is pissed. And in fact, I'll just do a live test on a pH strip right now so you can see. So here's our scale right now. Okay, you can immediately see that it's starting to turn blue. Like, I'll flip it around. And so 7 is like a soft green, 6 is essentially the color of the strip. We're over on this side, and this is not where we want to be. On anything. Nothing that's over here should be touching the skin, ever. Ever. Unless it's like a medical emergency or something, I don't know. But no, not in skincare products. So, yeah, it looks like a 9. And then when I looked at the formula, or the ingredients, I thought, well, that makes sense. The first ingredient's water, and the second 2 ingredients are potassium-derived cleansing agents. One is potassium oleate from sunflower oil, potassium cocoate from coconut oil. But this makes me so angry because I paid $35 for a product that, first of all, I had no interest in, didn't know anything about them, wasn't intrigued, wasn't interested. Then when I got it, I thought nothing of it, had high hopes, and I was like, oh my god, a cleansing milk? I love cleansing milks. Watermelon seed oil? I love watermelon seed oil. Lemon essential oil? I love lemon. Sorry, I just fiddle with the microphone, so hopefully everything sounds good. Okay, so I paid I just literally took $35. Of course, they would probably be like in $1 bills nonetheless, and just lit them on fire individually. I should have tested it first, but then it's like I shouldn't have to, period, but then you can't make that excuse. There's gonna be bad products out there that just exist, but I cannot, and I'm frustrated with myself, but I'm just more frustrated with the situation because number one, cleansers that are that high of a pH, skincare products that are that high of a pH should not exist anywhere. Secondly, I wasted $35 and that's why I'm mad. Third, I have now damaged my skin. Obviously I'll be able to bounce back and I'll be able to repair, and that's what this video is about. But I've been working so hard at keeping my skin healthy for so long that it's like, to do something like that to myself is just like, are you kidding me? The overarching feeling though is I make very conscious decisions, and I've been making a lot of effort lately to only have products in my home that bring me joy or work wonders on my skin, or a combination of those two things. And I just did a really big clean out of all of the products in my skincare cabinet, and there's a lot that I'm gonna pass on to friends because it just doesn't bring me joy anymore. It's not like I dislike the product, but it just doesn't bring me the same joy that it used to, and I think it's important not to kind of have clutter, especially if you have a skincare or product hobby, because it can be very overwhelming. But obviously that's, you know, your choice to make. So anyway, but this video and this topic has been on my mind for a long time, and this video just literally asked to be recorded this morning. I'm actually kind of glad I'm turning a negative into a positive, I guess. So this is a video about products to use when you overdo it. So what to do when you overdo it. All of us have experienced this before. Sometimes it can be product induced. You know, you use a product that either is too strong for your skin, period, or too strong for your skin at that moment. You know, I love Sunday Riley Good Jeans, but there are certain days that I just can't use it. Other times it can be, you know, it sneaks up on you. You are trying a new product out, or you're trying to up your retinoid frequency, or you're playing with a new acid, and your skin just gets to a point where it's had enough. And we've all been there. So what do we use to kind of bounce back from it? My thoughts about skin and my philosophy on skin is rule number one, listen to your skin. I think the skin is actually really good at telling us when it's had too much, especially as you start to kind of get to know it more and understand its needs and what it can take and what it can't take, and just sort of having a relationship with it. Everyone's skin is different, and you have to know your limit. It's the same thing with alcohol. You know, not all of us can handle that second shot, darling. So my threshold is on the broader side. I wouldn't say that I have sensitive skin, but I would say that there are certain strengths of products that my skin just can't handle, especially if I'm doing it, you know, in increments where there's very little downtime in between. With that said, I want to talk about products that I'm using, or that I use today, and that I will be using over the next couple of days to kind of replenish and repair, and then share my thoughts on why and all that sort of thing. Okay, so immediately after, I tried to just do all that I could to rehydrate. So immediately I reached for the Hada Labo Gokujyun lotion before I realized it was too late. I needed to wash my face again. So I used the Votary Super Seed, and this is my go-to for anytime my skin is borderline to crossing the threshold, irritated or overwhelmed or overstimulated or sensitized. It has lavender and parsley essential oil, which in general is something I try to avoid. There are a few products that I'm going to talk about that have some sort of essential oil content to it, but I think in general, taking away anything that's fragranced or has some sort of aromatic quality to it is just, at least for my skin, a good idea, because I don't want to throw in anything, I don't want to throw anything into the mix that might slow my repair process. So plant oils, carrier oils, seed oils, good to go, and that's what the Super Seed collection is. This is my favorite cleansing oil of all time, period, which is so funny to me to say because I never imagined that I would like a cleansing oil as much as I like this, and the fact that it is also really good at like SOS on my skin is an extra bonus. So I washed my face with that, gently used a cloth just to kind of blot away the oil because I didn't want to rough it up anymore, and I did a really nice massage on this and made sure to try and like just touch all the areas that the previous cleanser touched. And then I went in again with the Hada Labo and did quite a thick layer of it. I love this for when my skin has been overstimulated by like a retinoid or an acid exfoliant or a cleanser. Or if it's seasonal changes and air conditioner or heating or drying out my skin, this always takes care of it. If I scrub too hard with a washcloth, this takes care of it. I use this mostly for its ability to hydrate. I don't find it's necessarily soothing, but I know that by replenishing the water content to my skin and trapping it there with all the oils that I use afterwards, and I'll talk about that in a second, that is a great way, at least on my skin, to kind of get the repair process going by just replenishing what my skin has lost. I'm also known to spritz a Clinique Moisture Surge every now and again. This is nice for kind of throughout the day to kind of keep delivering hydration to the skin, because it's not always practical to reapply a lotion and a serum. And I love this. This is like my go-to for travel because it is so hydrating. Very simple formula. There's fermented yeast, aloe, glycerin, caffeine, vitamin E, so on and so forth. And then I mixed these two. So Jordan Samuel Hydrate is obviously my favorite hydration serum of all time, and I use it pretty much every single day regardless, but especially in cases where my skin is compromised, the hydration elements of this are noticeable on my skin. I can feel it, I can see it. It keeps my skin happy, it keeps it comfortable. So it was a no-brainer, but I mixed it with this. This is the Paula's Choice Resist Omega Complex, and I know I mentioned this recently, and I've still been playing with it. I figured now is as good of a time as ever to test it again. So the thinking with this is that it's barrier repair. It's replenishing things that just are lost with exposure to extreme weather, age, pollution exposure can just deplete and challenge our skin's barrier integrity. And so our acid mantle, our acid barrier, our skin excretes sebum and sweat from the pores, and the kind of invisible film that the sebum creates over the skin has lactic acid and amino acids in it, because that's what is contained in the excretion. And so as a result, the pH of our skin is around 5.5, give or take. Healthy skin, at least, is around 5.5, which is quite acidic. The difference between 5.5 and 5.6 is actually pretty extreme when you calculate it out, which I haven't done in a while because I haven't had cosmetic chemistry in a while. But it does have a natural acidity to it, so it does make sense to kind of keep almost everything that you use, if not neutral, slightly acidic. My friend Renee, Gothamista, has a really good video on pH, so I'll link that below. But that's why it's so important, because the skin is naturally acidic, and if you strip that away, you strip away the skin's ability to kind of fight off bacteria and function as a protective system. The skin is really good at keeping things out. That's what its purpose is. So when you compromise that, then your skin is a breeding ground for bacteria. It can't fight off the P. acnes bacteria as easily, so again, harsh foaming cleansers are just going to make breakouts and acne worse. And a healthy barrier is healthy skin, and healthy skin is glowing, happy, beautiful skin. So it's all a vicious cycle. So this has almost everything in it that you would need to replenish what the barrier contains, which is fatty acids, ceramides, fatty alcohols. It also has, obviously, omegas, oils. And to be very fair, if you're a regular user of facial oils, or you don't tend to use products that are strong enough to kind of lower the integrity of the skin's barrier, or you just don't do a lot that weakens the skin, this might not be something that you would need to have for everyday use. But if you are someone who likes to kind of try new products out, experiment with new exfoliants, retinoids, so on and so forth, in case you do run into a situation where you've overwhelmed your skin, this could be nice to have waiting in the wings. And so I think by creating a product that's designed to kind of tackle, when you overdo it or when your skin just gets a little bit weakened, I think it's really smart. And so I mixed them together, and so far so good. I'll continue to use it and see if it really can talk the talk, but so far I'm a fan. So that was my serum, and then the oil that I used was Votary Super Seed. Again, everything in the Super Seed range just is designed to kind of soothe the skin, calm it down, replenish it. This is, and actually I'll talk about Juno because I sort of use these interchangeably. It's seed oils, it's superfood seed oils. You've got your, I know this one has like broccoli, carrot, pomegranate, black cumin. I know this has chia, pumpkin, blueberry, blackberry, cherry, strawberry, poppy, all these really good seed oils, and I do use them interchangeably in the sense that they're both really great for when my skin is compromised. Without a doubt, one of these two is what I reach for. The biggest difference I would say is the Votary is 1.7 ounces, which is 50 ml, and it's I think 110, and the Juno is 90 for 1 ounce. So you do get slightly better value for money in terms of the Votary, but I love both so much, and I can't imagine my skin or my wardrobe or my life without either of these because I love them both so much. But I just used the Votary today because it was the first one that I saw. So if you tend to have sensitive skin, or your skin can get irritated quite easily, or again, you do like to experiment with products and you've had more than one situation where you've just overwhelmed your skin, those could be nice to have. And I think either of those would work really nicely for almost every single skin type, and that's the good thing about those. In the past, I have used the Avocado repairing oil. I would say if you like the idea of either Juno or the Votary, but you don't want to invest the amount of money that these cost, you know, let's just be honest, this could be a good way to do it. The thinking is the same in that it's designed to repair the skin, kind of get the healing process, the replenishment process going along. So I would say between these three, you could tackle most skin inflammation that's product induced. Sorry, my battery died, so I had to, sorry if the frame is shifted. So after I put on my oil, I use the Tatcha Indigo Soothing Triple Recovery Cream. And this is really cool because it has 3% colloidal oatmeal in it. And you know, when you chicken pox, you take an oatmeal bath and it calms everything down, soothes everything. And I find this to be very soothing, anti-inflammatory, very moisturizing. It's definitely on the richer side. But and I love it, but I'm just frustrated by it because it's $135, and like, for someone who's like, you know, ideally, who's mostly using this to treat something like eczema and psoriasis, it's like, I know that they're saying it's also an anti-aging cream, and Japanese indigo is probably really expensive, and it's supposed to be soothing as well, but I think the fact that it has such a high percent of colloidal oatmeal alone, I almost wish they would make another product that was sort of just like a very simple soothing cream without all of the bells and whistles added that wasn't $135, you know, and that's no shade on Tatcha, I love Tatcha, but I do find this to be very soothing. 3% is such a high amount. I also have the Ultra Repair Cream from First Aid Beauty, but this is only 0.5. And I do find it to be soothing, especially on the body, but there's also eucalyptus in it, and my skin, my facial skin can't always handle that. So that's when I reach for something like this. But you know, if you wanted to kind of get some of the benefits and you can handle eucalyptus, this might be good. But it is unfortunately very good. Some other products that I use to kind of alleviate irritation are Blue Cocoon, and I know I talk about how much this like helps my mood and all that, and it does, but it's got a lot of blue tansy, a lot of butters and plant oils, and I do find it to actually calm my skin down and visibly take away redness, visibly take away irritation, and you can feel the irritation kind of being subsided. And then all the emotional and mental benefits are an extra bonus. But I would never not say that this is soothing, because it is. At the end of the day, you're using it because of what it does on the skin, not just how it smells, you know? But love Blue Cocoon. And then also Vintner's Daughter I find is really great at maintaining the balance. So after I'm done with all of this repair, I'll probably use Vintner's Daughter for just a couple days after, because I do find every time I use it, it sort of like resets my skin and kind of, it's like the ideal balance, it's equilibrium. So I wouldn't say this is as like soothing as much as it is normalizing, and kind of it helps you get back into the world, if that makes sense. And I love that to pieces. And those two products are sort of are some of my exceptions to the essential oil rule. Two other things I want to mention: Biafine. This is the ACT, which is for burns. My friend Bella got me from France. Thanks, Bells. Anytime my skin is like just mad, either because of like friction, like if I'm wearing a shirt that just doesn't fit right and is rubbing, this calms it down. If I have like really dry skin or really inflamed skin on my body, this is what I reach for. I had almost like a razor burn on my upper lip a couple weeks ago. Put this on overnight, took care of it. So yeah, I would say this is, in my experience, better for spot treating, although I have used like a thick layer on top of a facial oil and then just went to bed, and it did help. But if you have any Biafine tips, please let me know, and please let all of us know, because this is still a fairly new product to me. And then also Farmacy Honey Savior, again, in the same way as Biafine, I find it to be really good for, you know, treating a small area of the skin that's super inflamed. And I would say more for like dryness and sort of chapped skin. So if you get like just your lips crack or whatever the case may be, it's really good for treating that. But I have done sort of a thicker layer on my face, I think once or twice. It's not the most, you know, pleasing experience, because it's sort of like putting honey all over your skin. But if you are in like a serious case of like you don't know what else to do, it could be worth it to try it. But obviously something you want to do in the evening, I would assume. Really, it does depend on the kind of irritation that you're treating, and know what caused the irritation, and know what was too much. Maybe it was an extra day, or maybe it was the product itself, and finding out what your tipping point was and kind of staying away from that in the future. It's a learning experience, and you also know what your skin can and can't handle, and you learn over time, and it's a learning experience. And that's, unfortunately this video had to be filmed because of a negative experience, but I know it's something all of us can relate to, so I figure hopefully it's helpful, and that I'm torturing myself for you. Just kidding. Yeah, so I will talk to you again very soon. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them below, and hopefully next time we talk, my skin is happier. Oy vey. Alright, I'll see you later. Bye.